Good morning, children. How are you all? Doing good? Good. Today we are going to start with our new chapter in English workbook. So let us all take our English workbook, chapter 2, Brave Hands. So today we are going to learn about a brave boy named Hans. So a long time ago, in the Haarlem city in Holland, there lived a kind-hearted boy named Hans who was very brave. So one day what happens? He goes to meet an old man, and while coming back he walks along the dike and he hears a sound of water trickling. So he sees carefully what he sees a small hole in the dike, and he senses the danger of that. So what happens? He thrusts his index into the hole and tried to stop the flowing of the water. So after that, it was very cold and he was also shivering from cold, and he waited there holding his finger in the hole so that he could find some help and he can repair the hole. So he waited. After many hours, a man noticed Hans sitting there, and he came and asked him, he saw him shivering with cold, and he said that I am keeping the water from flowing out. So he told him to get help from the villagers, and all the villagers rushed and helped the boy as well as praised him for saving the city. So the story, as we saw the summary of it, so let us all read and understand in detail. Okay? So let us all take page number 9 and let's read. A long time ago, in the city of Haarlem in Holland, there lived a kind-hearted boy named Hans. He was brave too. One afternoon, when the boy was about 8 years old, he asked his parents if he might carry some cakes to an old man who lived on the edge of the city. So what it says? There in the city of Haarlem in Holland, a boy named Hans lived. He was very kind-hearted as well as brave. So one afternoon what happens? When the boy was about 8 years old. So that means his birthday. So he turned 8. So what happened? He asked his parent a permission of taking some cakes to give it to an old man who stayed where? On the edge of the city. So his parents agreed. He started on his journey happily. He walked along the dike and reached the old man's house. So what it says? His parents, Hans' parents agreed with the same, and he took cakes to give it to the old man, and he started his journey happily. So he walked along with the dike. So what the word dike means? It's like a dam, a wall made up of rocks to block the water. Okay? So he walks along the dike and reached that old man's house, and he spent an hour with this old friend, then bade him goodbye and started towards his home. So he met the old man, right, and he spent an hour with him, and then he started back towards his home. It soon grew dark. Hans was walking along the dike when he heard the sound of water trickling. So what happens? It was getting darker, and he started walking back to his home. So what happened? He was walking along the dike. Suddenly he hears a sound of water trickling. Trickling means the water is falling very slow, like drops. Okay? It was just the water was flowing out in drops in slow way. Okay? So that's the meaning of trickling. He looked carefully and saw that there was a small hole in the dike. A tiny stream of water was flowing through the hole. The boy understood the danger at once. So what happens when he was walking along the dike, he heard the sound of water trickling. Suddenly he saw that there was a small hole in the dike and the water was coming out through it. It was a tiny stream of water which was flowing. So the boy understood the danger. And what was the danger? If the water was allowed to trickle through the little hole, the dam would break and result in flood, which would destroy the city. So Hans was worried to see that. Why? If the water comes in slow way also, I mean after some time what will happen? With the full force the dam will break and it might cause flood and the city might get destroyed. So Hans sensed this, and what he did, quick as a flash, he reached for the hole and he thrust his index finger into the hole and the flowing stopped. Hans decided to stay there till help came. So what happened? He thrust his index finger into the hole. He found the hole and he thrust his index finger into the hole, and the flowing stopped for a while. Let's see the next page. Soon it became very cold and Hans began to tremble. So it was very cold and Hans began to shiver. The cold grew more intense and a numbness crept over his hand and arm. Slowly his whole body was filled with pain. So what happens here? It was too cold outside, water was also very cold, and soon Hans was he was shivering with cold and he was feeling the numbness, and his body, the whole body of him was paining. A few hours later, a man noticed Hans. He was shivering with cold and pain, but continued to hold his position to save the city from flooding. So a few hours later, a man noticed Hans, but he was shivering. At that moment when the man saw him, he was shivering with cold and pain. But he continued to hold his position so that he can save the city from flooding. The man rushed to Hans and said, "Dear boy, what are you doing there?" "I am keeping the water from running out," was the simple answer of the little boy. So the man, when he approached Hans and asked him, "What are you doing there?" he saw him shivering with cold and he asked him. So Hans replied that, "I am keeping the water from running out." "Tell them to come quickly and fix the hole." Hans says this thing to whom? The man, and he tells him to call for help so that the villagers can come and they can help to fix the hole. Help did come quickly. The villagers rushed to rescue the boy and repair the hole in the dike. So the villagers came there, rescued the boy and also repaired the hole in the dike. So what happens at last? Everyone praised the brave little boy and thanked him for saving the city. So likewise, all the villagers praised the boy and also thanked him for helping the city from the flood. So by this we are ending the story. We'll meet in the next class. Okay, bye.